What's going on, everyone? Matic here. In today's Reaction Rants, we have a video that shows people who have graduated from beginner level and those that don't know anything.
Even when I do a higher side kick, I don't need to do this. If I go here, it's too late. By the time I pick up, he knows already. You have to, boom. See, you have to push it, just picking up. Boom. Right, where is the knee pickup? Do you see my knee pickup? No. Okay, once again, it's the foot. So the foot's picking up, and I'm pivoting. And that's where you're making the contact.
Viewer discretion is advised. There's going to be lots of swearing involved because, let's be honest, there's a lot of stupid people out in the world. And I may be a good person, but I never claim to be a nice one.
Okay, so in that video, what exactly is he kind of talking about? So he's talking about a side kick, and there's kind of two ways you can look at it. He's either talking about doing a counter side kick, which is kind of where I'm kind of taking this, or if the person just happens to be in range for that type of side kick. And this is a side kick to the head, not the body. If it's going to the body, completely different thing. Time, place, different situations, all that stuff. This is specifically side kick to the head, and I am mostly assuming someone is coming in, whether at full speed or just kind of inching themselves in the proper range. And so what he's mostly talking about is when you do a side kick, right? So basic, normal training side kick, right? Front leg, we pick the knee up, either you pick it straight up or across, doesn't matter. Pick up knee, extend out, pull back, and then set down. Basic side kick, we all kind of got that. Awesome. What he's talking about now is in an actual fighting context. So in order for me to pick my knee up and still have balance, at least for that moment of time, my body has to come backwards, right? My body has to come backwards. I am now creating space between me and my opponent. And then after I've created that space, I am then refilling it with a side kick. The problem is, my body weight is still kind of this way, and so I have lost the distance. If my opponent is coming in, that's possibly a good thing. If they just happen to be in range from this position and I go to do that, great, I just threw a side kick and I don't hit them. So let's say I go to do that kick, my opponent happens to be in range of this particular kick, and I'm going to the head. If I just pick my foot up, right, I don't create empty space. If I just pick my foot up and try to maintain here as much as possible, I wind up feeling space. I don't create space and then have to refill it. Or I don't create space that my opponent can then feel and then counter me. So I'm taking whatever little bit of negative space there is, and then I'm just filling that with my foot. It'd basically be the exact same thing as if I was gonna throw a jab. I just want to go forward to perform my jab. I don't want to pull back, create empty space, and then go with my jab. It's kind of the same concept. But by also doing that, kind of things that he points out in the very beginning, is let's say I am able to fill in that space again while putting my body in. Because I pick my leg up this way, this signifies it's going to be a side kick. Because when he picks his foot up, he is this way, or he's like, this way, whatever. He picks his leg up here. He does not pick it up here to where it could possibly be something else, like a round kick, side kick, or hook kick or anything here. He picks it up as if it's actually going to be just a side kick. So if you're standing in front of me and you see me create space to pick up my front knee, you kind of know I'm going to throw a side kick. And if not a side kick, possibly a hook kick, but especially if it's going to the head, right? So you can kind of go in and stuff or fill in that space to prevent me from throwing my kick. So from there, just picking the foot up, boom, for someone who is already in range, that's what we're doing. Now, as I said, I'm kind of looking at this more as a counter side kick, as though your opponent is coming towards you with any particular attack, and you are picking your foot up in a side kick as a counter, usually just to kind of stuff them to keep them away from you, or possibly a knockout, because again, this kick is going to the head. If the kick was going to the body or something like that, Slightly different thing. That's not what we're doing. We're kicking to the head. Because as you can see from all the comments here, all of them are saying you must chamber the leg, always chamber the leg. If you don't chamber the leg, there's no power and stuff like that. It's like, so these are clearly the people that either don't know anything of what the fuck they're talking about, or they are still in a beginner level. Even if they think that they have a number of years, they are still thinking like a beginner. They haven't tried actually experimenting with the things that they do. They just do the thing because their instructor tells them to do it. And then because of that, they will always be at a beginner level. So we're going to do a simple demonstration where I am recording this at 60 frames a second. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to record a basic attack. You will see it in real speed. And then I will show the counter side kick, the first one of bringing the knee up, extending, and then the second one just coming up. You can kind of tell from that which one's faster, but we're going to put it to the actual test. So what we're going to do is it's going to be a very, very basic attack where I'm going to give the side kick person as much wiggle room as possible, right? The attack is going to be me here, and then I'm going to launch forward, and it's just like a simple back fist, something like that. But it's going to be at full speed capability that I can kind of do. And then, so when I put the two videos together, I am going to start the counter side kick a quarter of a second or 15 frames after the beginning of the attack, because we're just averaging basic normal reaction speed time. For high-level athletes, some of them can get it down to 0.1 to 0.15 of a second, but we're going to average it with a quarter. So I'm going to set the fighting distance about 1.5 meters. This is about half a meter further than what my normal fighting distance is. So again, we're giving as much credit to the counter kicker as possible. And we're going to use this one footage of this attack for both of them. So it's not like I'm going to record this and be possibly slower. So again, I'm going to be down here, try to be as still as possible. And as soon as I come up, boom, that's when the quarter of a second timer will start. Okay, so that was recording, so now we're gonna go to the kicks. So base recording of pulling the knee in. This is gonna be my target here for the kicking of the head. I'm assuming that's kind of where my head was in the attack. E. E. Okay, so that was the test footage. We're going to splice them together, see what they look like. E. Okay, so those are like their results, and I haven't reviewed them yet, but I can already tell you that the second kick, much faster. So I played both of them in normal speed and in slow mode, just so we can see a comparison of just which one is kind of superior. And again, I did all three of those at max capability of kind of what I can do right now. In actuality, in real life, different variables, you see certain things that are different. You might have a little bit of a pause, you might do a certain specific movement, whichever it is. The instructor gives us kind of the context of this particular move. And the context is you either the opponent is already within range to where we can just pick our leg up and kick them with it. Don't be that close, you're an idiot. Or the opponent is moving in and you're doing a counter side kick. I personally believe it's a counter side kick because he just picks his front foot up. I do not fight people close enough to where they can just pick their foot up and kick me without moving. So I have to assume that someone is coming in, you're picking your foot up, throwing your kick, and kind of that's it. Otherwise, you would actually push back Then you can pick your knee up because now you have created more physical space between you and your opponent, and now you have time to pick your knee up and then really set that side kick, especially if you're going to the body. Again, the attack is going to the head. The last time I had true numbers on like how much my legs could press or whatever was on a leg press on a machine that had 410 pounds, and we maxed it out, and that was like 15 something years ago. So let's assume that my legs have gotten stronger then, but still cut that in half. That's one leg of 200 pounds of pressure. There's no one's neck that can resist 200 pounds of pressure right to the dome. You can't resist that. So we have to understand what's going on. If you are not able to understand that, or let's say you do understand that, but then you start coming in with what if this, what if that, what if who, what, when, where, it doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up. You're adding context to a thing when we have the full context. If your what if is what if so-and-so does something different, guess what? Do something else fucking different. Don't do the same thing because it's probably not gonna work. Use your fucking head and move out of the way and do something else that might work. This is where you start getting the separation between beginners who do what their coaches or instructors tell them because they don't know better. They don't have actual context or experience on how to adapt to different situations. You start getting into the intermediate levels is when you have all of your basic stuff kind of firm in your muscle memory and stuff like that, and then you kind of start experimenting. Do I hold my guard a certain way? Do I kind of move this first or a little bit different than what I normally do to get an edge? Do I do that all the time? Do I do that in certain situations? Usually it's that one. But the intermediate phase is when you kind of start experimenting with things. Beginner, learn the basics. Shut your fucking mouth. Intermediate, start to explore. This video is the perfect example of that type of thing. Especially, you can go to the comments. I'll have the link down in the description. Look at all the people who say you can't have any power if you don't rechamber your leg. You're an idiot. You either haven't kicked enough, you haven't trained enough, or you haven't done fucking anything when it actually comes to fighting or training. Those that actually know this stuff, they're the ones that are getting titles, they're winning matches, or they just know what the fuck they're doing. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I will see y'all next time. I'm Matic, and I'll catch y'all later. Oh God, that was shit. That was so bad. So bad. Oh my God.